Well, it's no secret that we're losing our kids and we're losing them fast. I just want you to know that no one's been the bad guy in this. We're all just doing the best we know how to do. But I really want to put the emphasis on the parents. There is no youth minister skilled enough, no youth ministry budget large enough, no church cool enough to do the work of discipling your kids for you. It's your job to do the spiritual work at home, and it was the shift away from the home to institutionalizing the discipleship of our kids where the drop-off in our children's faith and the longevity of our children's faith began to happen. It's a direct correlation as best I can see it. I lived through it. I don't have numbers on it, but I saw it with my own eyes. I could totally be wrong. What do you think? Do you agree with that or disagree with that? That when we moved the faith development out of the home and institutionalized and professionalized it within experts within the church who are not part of our family, youth ministries, all that the faith longevity dropped off. And that doesn't mean anyone in the church did a bad job. It doesn't even necessarily mean youth ministry is a bad thing. I'm just saying that there was a mentality that said, that's happening at church, I guess I can go about my life at home as a parent. Not the case. It wasn't the youth ministry's fault. So anyway, I said enough about that. I just want to let you know that for like thousands of years, it was the job of the family to raise their kids in faith, to pass on the faith, to pass on the doctrine, to pass on the belief, to tell the stories, to open the scriptures, to share the good news, to bring them up in faith. It goes all the way back to Deuteronomy 6, where Moses is instructed to pass these things all onto your children, remind them, teach them. As you walk upon the road, as you lie down, as you sit down, all postures of life, you are to be teaching your children about the faith at home, not a third party, not somewhere else. I'm not trying to guilt the parents because we didn't know better either. I'm going to hand you 10 things. Just pick one or two. Come back to this in a few months, then pick one or two more. Put a reminder in your phone to come back and watch this again and just keep picking up pieces of this until it just becomes routine, right? And so here are the 10 things. Number one, just talk to them. Spend time talking with them. Ask them questions. Listen to their input, their answers. Ask them Bible questions. Ask them faith questions. Ask them life questions. Ask them what their questions are. It may be that you're tossing the ball in the yard having a conversation. Our 13-year-old every morning is getting on the bus. He wants to throw the frisbee in the front yard. He wants that engagement. He still wants me to tuck him in bed at night at 13 years old. It's a blessing. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I don't make it. Sometimes I'm grumpy. But I have to remember that he wants that time, and I need to want to have the time too. Number two, just have and show a genuine interest in their well-being. Are they okay? Do they know that you wonder if they're okay? And not just to smother them with the are you okayness, but you just have a genuine concern and interest in what's going on in their life. How would they know? Proximity. How would they know? Conversation. This is showing curiosity about their life because they're valuable and important to you. There is so much about establishing your identity and knowing that your parents have an affinity for you. It's so hard to know who you are if you don't believe your parents know much about you or care much about you or have any genuine interest or curiosity about you. Number three, take their questions very seriously. They might be silly questions. They might be things we've never thought of. We might get stumped and take it personal. But just make sure that they know when they ask a question, it's very important that you are listening, that you are attentive, that you are paying attention, that you are trying to help them understand an answer. And maybe you don't know the answer, but maybe part of your role in this is helping them find out how to find an answer when you don't know the answer, okay? You're modeling, you're explaining, you're teaching, you're instructing. Number four, just admit when you're wrong. I just remember feeling like as a teen, oh my gosh, my parents just never think they're wrong, and I'm sure they knew they were wrong and probably apologized more times than I know. You got to be able to admit when you're wrong. Where else will your kid learn this from in a world that is averse to admitting fault? You got to model the apology. You got to model the repentance. I am really, really sorry. I messed up. I know I am not perfect. I am working on it. Thank you for being patient with me. It's hard for them to relate to a parent who doesn't think they're ever wrong because teens know that they're wrong. We point it out to them all the time. Us as parents need to be transparent and available for the I was wrong conversation. Number 5, take them places with you. This is for a couple of reasons. One big reason is it shows your kid, I am proud for people to see me with you. It brings me such joy for people to know that you are my kid. You belong to me. And while you're out in the real world, teach them. Explain things to them. Did you see that? Did you hear what they said? I wonder why they said that. Do you know where that comes from? Explain pop culture to them. Explain the way the world works. Explain the way social systems work and the way relationships work. Just to be observant and explaining of the world that is all around them all the time that they may have questions about. And you're also teaching them how to engage the world, how to form friendships, how to have conversations with strangers. But that's never going to happen if you don't take them any place with you. We say, oh, it's just so much slower to take them with me. Just take them with you because you're developing them into being independent, wise people who are savvy with the way that the world works because they got a head start because you were willing to spend that time with them when many other parents were not. Number 6, model things for them. This is how you do that. You know, there's times I'm fixing things or building things, working with tools. It's like, hey, you've never seen how to use this tool. Let me just show you how to use this tool. One of the traditions we've had in our family is each year at a birthday, we buy them a tool and we show them how to use the tool. And we bought them a toolbox and the tool goes in the toolbox. This is how you use a hammer. This is how you use a drill, a screwdriver, a ratchet. It's training them to be able to be in the world without you having to be looking over their shoulder. Train them step by step, skill by skill. And then you let them do it. You let them try. And that brings us to the next one. Learning through failure. Let them fail. Let them fall. You know, don't dive in and keep them from skinning the knee every single time. It's like sometimes you got to take your lumps because failure is the way forward. There's nothing worse than growing up a child who has an absolute fear of failure because you are dooming that child to an existence of never getting to move forward. You do not want perfectionistic children. You want realistic children. They can learn to fail and fall in a safe environment right there with you with them. And then you can reflect on that and say, I know that hurts when that happens. I don't like it either. Let me just let you know. It's actually the secret to success. What? Feeling this bad is the secret to success? Yes. Because you never want to feel that way again. But you also learn how to do it better next time because you've learned something in the failure that you didn't know before you failed, or else you wouldn't have done it that way. And then show them how to put the pieces back together. This is what it can look after the fact, right? How about number 8? Just get to know their friends' parents. This is huge because the parents of their friends are going to be a big indicator of the kind of friends they're hanging out with, but it also gives some accountability to what's going on in those relationships, that you know the parents and their parents know you. Number 9, spend time with them in the Bible and spend time with them in prayer. And it's not just you doing all this for them, it's you also engaging them and asking them to take on some of this on their own, to have ownership of the process, have ownership of reading the scriptures, praying out loud, learning to pray, learning not just to read, to hear the scriptures, but to understand it, to live it, to share it. These are the kind of things we train our children in. And number 10, this is a hard one because we've worked a long time to get to the point we're at in life, but do not allow yourself to be the exception as the parent. Don't be the exception to the rule. Because that level of entitlement that your kids see when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, etc., they will want in their teens and 20s and 30s and on, and it will not go well for them. You do not want entitled children because the rules will bite them and it will not go well for them. And they have a very hard time breaking out of those habits down the road. So don't allow yourself the shortcuts. Don't allow yourself to be made the exception where you don't have to follow the same rules as the parent as everybody else. Now, there'll be little exceptions to that, but I'm just speaking very, very generally here. Like, for instance, hey, you got to go to bed at 8. I'm a grown-up. I can go to bed at 9, 10, whatever, because I'm in a different position in life than you are, but I still have to go to bed at a reasonable time for my position in life. You will get to too one day, right? So these are 10 things that I hope will help you to be able to engage your child in spiritual matters and spiritual conversation, in training and equipping them for life, right? This is discipleship. And a youth minister maybe has often never had kids or has very, very young children, won't ever be, and has 40, 50, 60, 100 children within the ministry, just can't do all that needs to be done and never should have been asked to do it. And so it's our job as parents to take this on and do it to the best of our ability. And so God bless you in that. Do not beat yourself up. Do not guilt yourself. You just did the best you knew how to do. But as we learn to do better, let's try better. So I'm going to put up another video up here about understanding the scriptures that may help you in understanding so you can pass that on to your kids. Read Deuteronomy 6 as your homework. And if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, just go ahead and take care of it. All right, take care.